Okay, so rapid prototyping with StreamLit. StreamLit is an open source platform that enables you to provide machine learning and data science teams, right? And create beautiful apps on the Python stack and in a very, very easier way, right? You don't need to write a long code for the GUI into the complexity itself. StreamLit provides you on the runtime very soft enable containers that enables you for the delivering of the data science pipelines. Okay. So StreamLit has three ideas, right? It's completely Python scripting, so it's very, very fast, and it's an API based, so that can be called very easily. You can do interactions. So there are a lot of interaction widgets from date pickers, from the range selectors, from the buttons and everything. You can explore the StreamLit libraries and components out and deploy instantly. So right in the different servers, you need to write a complex code and deployment knowledge you need to have. It's a very, very easy framework that enables you to deploy the StreamLit applications on your local host and as well as on the cloud, such as Heroku platform, on Azure, or any other platform that you want to host with. Okay, so if we start with just looking out, the simple script to run your StreamLit app is, and if you download my application, if you want to run is, so first of all, you need to install pip install StreamLit into your packages, and then followed by, you can write StreamLit run and my script or your script, whatever it is, and you can pass arguments as well. So this opens a localhost container and runs all the application on the web browser. So so the best thing about the StreamLit is, generally, you need to first write the code and again load into and develop and deploy, right? What the best thing is about the StreamLit is, you change the code and StreamLit automatically analyzes the code and finds the changes and deploys it automatically, right? So the time to deliver the application reduces up, and you are able to perform the creation of UI a very, very faster way, right? I'll be demonstrating you out so that you will be very much amazed how easy and responsive is the StreamLit is, and how easier life from today you're going to be. Okay, so when it comes to the data flow, you can write application architecture on the StreamLit in a form of Python script. So it's not a Jupyter notebook based framework. It will be a .py file that you need to write and run then later. So if you want to write and draw the content, just let me show you the one of the applications that I have created for this session. Qamar, can you please guide me up how I can share another screen?
Yeah, have you stopped sharing that screen?
Hey.
Yeah, just share your screen again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something.
It's my time for a while. I'm sharing my entire screen. This goes.
Yep, you can see. Okay, perfect.
Okay, just let it load. It's on Heroku platform, so the app might be sleeping because the worker node might be sleeping right now. Just for a while, if it loads.
MEHSAM, in the meantime, maybe you can ask some questions. So people are saying, how can they volunteer for your meetups, the Karachi.AI meetups?
Okay. So those who want to volunteer with us, they can reach out to Karachi@city.ai and write a small application that they want to volunteer with us. We will share a form where they can fill out their details.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this is one of the diabetes prediction app that we are going to today conduct with. And if you can see, I was saying that there are very interactive available things that you can do with StreamLit. So this is one of the headers, and there are fields different. So the whole app is all about the diabetes prediction. So you get for just imagine, you think about there a patient comes in, you take some values of around pregnancy, their glucose, their blood pressure, their skin thickness, and different factors out, and then you can click here to predict with your machine learning model, is the person diabetic or not, right? So this is the whole theme of the today's talk, and this is the use case we are going to work with. This is the platform of StreamLit that we are going to demonstrate you today. So what if I want to create this input value skin thickness input parameter? So what I need to do? Okay, so coming back to the talk, you can draw the content very easily. So what you do is write a basic script, import Streamlit as st, or you can give any anchor out. For example, you write st.write. So as you write st.write, your screen delivers a text method for you to implement with, right? Just let me give you a glimpse of what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the GitHub project. You can mark it as a star if you want to see the application. Okay. So coming back to the topic, here if you can see the script, I have imported the Streamlit st, right? And then what to deliver the parameter input value, I have.
Mesum, can you please zoom in a bit?
Okay. Can everyone see?
Yeah, it's much more better.
Okay. So I have called st.number.input, right? Rest is the programming that I need to do. I use a programmatic way to call many containers of the number input value, but the itself is very easy. That you can see st.title, your input summary, and what you can see is your input summary. So what this app does, if you see, it works in a very procedural way. If you see, here is the st dot button. So in the first way, we are going to list what the title is, st.title input summary. There is a right parameter dictionary. You can see the button. So my diabetes app prediction app, there are fields that I have recursively presented here is Streamlit components that are input values. You see the input summary, and you have a JSON summary as well. And then there is a button that you click, and there comes a prediction from it, right? So hopefully, if you have the concept of how Streamlit enables you to draw the widgets, so you just need to write st.write, st.input, or many other. You can explore the Streamlit library. If you want to draw a slider, you just need to do st.slider and do put on the text that you need to represent above the slider. Hopefully that is clear. Qamar, my screen is visible.
Yes.
So just what covering up from the start, if we see what are the requirements for today's session we're going to do. So we are using Python 3.6 or later. We need to have Python installation package that is called pip, and there is a Streamlit library that I called pip install Streamlit, right? So how you start work with is import Streamlit as st. You just write a Python script, first app.py, and you can try it out live on your server as well. If you installed it out, import Streamlit as st, and you wrote the you write the specific code as st.write. My name is, and insert your name into the quoted, and then you can just save the .py file and do Streamlit run first app.py. Let me just demonstrate how we're going to work with. Okay, so this is one of the app. What I am doing going to do is import Streamlit as st, and okay, this is your notepad. st.write my first app, right, in Streamlit. What I'm going to do is st.write title. So you get a very large heading. I'm going to save this application on my desktop as my_first_app.py.
Mesum, can you please zoom in a bit because people are saying they can see it a bit
Okay.
blurry.
Can you see the
Yeah.
code?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
It's very easy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just opening up the command prompt from here using the PowerShell for now.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I called
Okay.
StreamLit run my first app.py. Now it's going to open up the localhost, right? No Django browser configuration needed, nothing needed. Simple. You got your first app in StreamLit. Congratulations. So hopefully everyone has been able to install the StreamLit library and follow up here. So we are going to go very quick. So this would not be a following tutorial that you can follow up along with me, but you can later look into the GitHub and for the details, right? So we are doing a PEMA Indians diabetes database. That is a very vanilla use case that many people have implemented in machine learning model for learning different things, right? So there are some of the factors, that is pregnancies, glucose, blood pressure, skin thickness, insulin, BMI, diabetes pedigree, function, and age. So these are some of the predictors that we would be inputting up, and our app would be predicting up the probability of if a person is diabetic or not, and what probability it concerns, right? So if you break down the requirement, this is the requirement from one of our boss or one of our customer. We can see there should be a heading for my diabetes app prediction app. There should be sequence parameters that should have default values and descriptions, right? So if we see the application itself, let me just switch up to the responsive. So our requirement is to have some heading. Each input should have a heading and a descriptor that what needs to be inputted. It should be a number value, and then you should have a summary, and then you should have a button to predict with, right? So this is the whole requirement that we are today concluding it with. So that is a display of input, button to execute the prediction, and prediction outcome of with the confidence. Qamar, everyone is able to see the screen and
Yeah.
is visible? Okay.
Yeah, everything is right. They're just saying that they cannot see the video, see the slides completely because our videos are showing up. So I'm just turning off your video so that and mine as well, so that
Yep.
people can see the screen
Sure,
clearly. Okay.
Please turn off my video. That would be great.
Okay. Yeah, I did. Please go on.
Okay. So the next thing we are coming up with, we are going to implement these things. So in order to create the UI interactive objects, we are just doing some Pythonic way of work in order to do quick implementation of the screen widgets, right? So first of all, I have created a parameter list, that is pregnancies, glucose, and everything that is required to be input. I have created a blank list that is to be parameter input values. I have given a parameter description that is again a Python list. So that is not nearly necessary, but I am just explaining out. So when you see my GitHub code, you don't get confused with. These are some of the default values that load up with. So if you see, what I have done is, if I refresh this application, you see input value for pregnancies. This is the field names that is coming from here. If you see what the glucose is, number of times pregnant. So number of times pregnant is coming from here, from this list. And the default value is set to 6. That is coming from 6, right? So hopefully these three things are clear to you. Now we will be creating UI objects. So that is very easy. We are using StreamLit number input because that is relevant to our use case. What you need to give it out, there should be a label, there should be a key and a value. So if you are using multiple similar types of input types, that is a number inputs, so you need to provide a unique key so that StreamLit recognizes each and every field with a different key, right? Else it will throw an error out. Okay, so there is a label, some guide text. We will fit parameter description here, what we did. Okay, so there is a key. So that key is pregnancies. There is a value. So we will fit out the number 6. And we will currently ignore, there are a lot of other inputs as well in the number input API, but we will ignore them out. Okay. So next is coming up to creating UI interface and interactive objects. Okay, so what I've done is I'm a bit lazy programmer, so I have tried to programmatically run a loop on my requirement. So I get 6 parameter fields. You can just explore the loop out so you can understand what I have done. It is the same thing what I have done, but rather you can just explore it out how I have implemented in loop. So what the first thing does is my diabetes prediction app. What I have done is here you can see the title. You can see I have run a loop for this for parameter in df, and I have zipped it out and implemented into. So I get what I get is programmatically get these 6 fields. You can see I have put encapsulated all these parameters what the user inputs into a parameter dictionary. I have given a your input summary and parameter dictionary. So your input summary and parameter dictionary. So st.write, if you see, you can use as a global writer for anything out, right? If you provided it a pandas data frame, it will output a data frame on the screen. If you provide it with a text, it will provide the text on the screen. If you provide it with a JSON, it will provide you this like dictionary type. So dictionary is kind of a JSON. So that is being inputted as what user has been input. So if I change 50 to 50, for example, if I write 52, so it also changes into 52, right? So StreamLit is updating all the things in live. You don't need any callback mechanism for your input. In the last applications, in the other applications other than StreamLit, you need callback methods in order to get a response for your widget state. So no need to control the widget state and everything. StreamLit is very easy for that. So now we have at the end of the we have a button. So in the button logic, what we can do. So before we can have a prediction logic into our button, we need to have something that needs to be executed. So for this StreamLit part, I'm just demonstrating you out. Today we are also going to be discussing the Fast API. So hopefully you don't get confused whether you have to implement StreamLit with Fast API or StreamLit itself alone can work. So right now I am demonstrating how StreamLit alone can work, and then I'll be demonstrating you out that how you can call the API on the button as well. So you get the both flavors. If you want to deploy StreamLit alone itself without an API, it will completely work as a standalone application. And if you want to interact with an API, for example, you have a Google Cloud Services API or a for example, if you have Google Maps API, so you can interact with button as well on that. So what I'm doing today is I have processed a machine learning model and exported that into a pickle file. So that is diabetes model. I'll be using job lib load for this purpose. I have defined a prediction function that outputs us the prediction value. So you can ignore this fetchy code, and you can see out in the GitHub how it works. So on the button platform, what I'm trying to do is if st.button, click here to predict, right? So this is click here to predict is being st.button. And then what I have done is I have used the prediction value, whatever is being passed into that parameter, it works into, sorry. Okay, so it works into. All the things are done. And as I click here to predict, what it does, it processes the things and it gives an output of confidence, right? Qamar, are we following with, and hopefully the things are clear with?
Yes, they're actually asking about that it's blurry or if the recording will be available. There are a few questions, but I think we should do them at the end.
Okay,
Just
sounds good.
to maintain our time schedule.
Sounds good. So what at the end of the day, sc.write, your diabetes prediction is what I have encapsulated as parameters are available here. So hopefully we have created a first application for our diabetes model. You can see my application on, you can find this application as complete code as my first app StreamLit.py that is being completely provided. I can share the link of this script in the chat session as well. Okay. So this, if you are very confused around how StreamLit works, how I'm going to remember so many commands for Streamlit. So this is a very good cheat sheet. I'll be sharing you this slide that you can refer and keep up with. So that enables you to not remember the code itself, but rather recall the logics of the code, right? So this is a cheat sheet for you guys. Okay. So if we summarize what we did in order to deliver this small app application that we saw into. So we created UI objects that was a very few lines of code, and then we imported a model. We use Pickle, or we can use an API for calling. Right now we use a Pickle model, and we will in the next in the upcoming thing we will be discussing Fast API. So how we can consume Fast API into Streamlit model. Then what we did is we pass the parameters from the Streamlit to the model outputs, and again we come up to the Streamlit. So hopefully the overall flow is clear to you. If you are going to deploy on the Heroku itself, so what you will need is a proc file. So you need to have the script on your GitHub, your requirements txt that is to be into a file that I need Streamlit version 0.55, pandas 24, and scikit-learn 22. So in order to process the file, right? And when deploying on the Heroku, you need to have the same configuration from Streamlit, run, enable cores, and false. That all things are available here in my code. If you can see here, just let me demonstrate. You can see the proc file here. So everything is available here in the proc file. You can later, after the session, you can see how you can deploy on Heroku. There is a diabetes model, so you can also completely download the code in entirety and run this code on your local host as well, right? So here is the requirements txt that have been implemented into. Okay, so now coming up to the Fast API. So in the last session, we understood how Streamlit can standalone work itself and completely deliver a machine learning application or data science implementation that you need to show up into your organization in a single day, right? So that this enables you to deliver the GUI very faster and show your concepts around the machine learning very easily. So there is a called Fast API, and why is it called Fast API? I'll be just letting you know why it is, but you can remember from its name, it's very high performance, it's very fast and easy and ready to go for production. So when if I can explain my background, I am a chartered accountant myself. So I find generally the coding things very hard and difficult. I'm not a CS graduate, right? So I found out Streamlit. If I want to easily implement the GUI, so I can implement with Streamlit. And if I easily want to implement APIs, now I have the platform of Fast APIs. So it is becoming more of a domain expertise rather than knowing of the code. So people going to do it, but you are learning into it. Okay, so some of the testimonials, where is Fast API being used? So it's being used by Uber, it's being used by Microsoft in an implementation. Netflix is also using the Fast API for the implementation. So what's very special about the Fast API? So what is need? Let's get started with how Fast API needs to be getting work. So you first type in pip install Fast API, so you get the Fast API. And then you need a server as well. So pip install UVCon. Fast API is native to UVCon, and you can run very fast on your API as well. So let's see it out how we're gonna code up the very small application. If you can type into from Fast API, import Fast API, app Fast API, and then app-get. So just let me demonstrate what I am telling about. You just import Fast API, and there is a package. You put this Fast API into an application package, and then this app gives you a decorator. And this decorator is very powerful. When you work with Flask API, you need to handle the data types itself, all the application bind parameters itself. Now what Fast API does, it does all the things for you. Just implement the method and it understands, right? So there is a application app.get / so this, when person hits the your API in a native way, he gets a message hello Donald, right? So it returns a method that called message hello Donald. It gives a message called hello Donald. This is a JSON that is being passed around. You can see the JSON. If you want to run this app, you can save this code and go into your CMD. You can use it out Unicall main map. So your main application would start running if you save the application with main.py. Or just if you want to completely run this app on your own, so what you can do is you can put a main method into it, and you put on Unicon run, and this copy up this code out, right? So if we start comparing Flask with Fast API, you can see in Flask, what you need to do is you need to completely route and then handle the data types itself. Your methods need to be hard coded, that what kind of data types you would expect, what kind of data are you going to infer. But when it comes to Fast API enables you to implement the methods very, very easily. So if I have a method called def predict, so what I did is app.get slash API diabetes, what I have given a root for that, and this method is automatically inferred into API. So when you see the documents of the API, you can see that a string payload is required for this API. It automatically generates the documentation of the API itself, so that if you are going to provide API someone for commercial use, they get the documentation itself, how to use the APIs, what are the required parameters, what are the optional parameters, right? Qamar, is my screen visible and voice?
Yes. Yep. Please carry on.
Okay. So
Okay, this is a bit blurry. Can you please zoom into that?
Okay. Let me just check if can zoom. Okay,
Yeah.
it's zooming more than what's required. Okay, so just telling out the summary. There is a benchmark, internet benchmark. You can see fast API comparison, and you can see how fast API is on the number one, right? So it's showing the benchmark at the 100% in a fast API, and all the other platforms that provide the API or enable API are slow in comparison to fast API. So what we are learning is a very, very world class best library for making APIs. I am not ignoring the flexibility of Flask API, but rather you can develop very, very quick into fast API. Okay, so what's bonus about the Flask API? Well, if everything can be done in Flask, why go for Fast API, right? So Fast API gives you a completely enabled documentation for free, and you get the API documentation without any code to write with. If we see, let me just demonstrate you what kind of demonstration you get it. I write /docs. So if you want to see what my API does is, okay, just let me copy it up. It's opening up. Okay. So here you see the complete Swagger UI. You get the complete documentation of what your API does, how it works, and I had to write a zero code for this complete documentation, right? So generally, when you deliver your clients' APIs on Upwork on your production environments, there you need the documentation to communicate with other team what your API does, right? So this is what Flask API does, and you can also get a very awesome flavor of another documentation there where you can test your things out as well. That is called a redoc. So here you can input as well your values, and you can completely get your API working as well. So this is the Swagger UI. You can put your responses, you can put validation and payloads into it and test your API. Right? If you click try it out, you can put the complete payload and it executes. Let me just demonstrate you out how it works. Okay. So what I'm doing is to copy up the default values into it. hopefully the API is visible.
Yeah, can you please zoom in a bit?
Yeah. So API gives a response of the 200 code. Just let me just stick it out, but you can see the response of the API as well, right? So what I am doing is, if you see this application, when you click this button, it hits the Fast API in background, right? It generates this link. So if you can see this link, it's giving a payload completely of this. So this is what Fast API does. So you get a bonus documentation and a free kind of implementer as well. You can check the complete code of Fast API I have written into. Just let me demonstrate you out.
Okay, Mesum,
Okay,
you have 2
so
minutes left.
Fast API. Let me just zoom in out.
Yeah,
Is my
perfect.
screen visible?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So you can just ignore the first thing that GitHub imposes itself. From Fast API, I have Fast API. What I have done is what I did with the JobLib library in the StreamLit standalone application. Now I am going to implement this model into the Fast API. So the data comes in, the Fast API processes with the scikit JobLib library, and then renders the response back. So this API can be used into several applications as well, right? You can ignore the rate limits. That is a bonus topic that I'll be telling you out at the end of the session. I guess I have 5 minutes left into my session, so just let me go quick through into the cover. Again, the same is app Fast API. I have loaded the model. What I have created is a def root. So if you see, okay. So let me just demonstrate you in a second. App.get, there is a diabetes prediction app, right? You can ignore the 60 seconds code. I'll tell you again. App.get/diabetes, you have implemented a method of predict. There will be a string payload that would be coming in. So my button would be throwing in into the code of the string payload, right? What comes in is would be splitted by the values itself. Headers are provided into, and again the same implementation of the code is given that I wrote into the StreamLit application. But rather the StreamLit application uses, now it uses Fast API. And let me just show you the code as well. Okay, so if I directly hit my API, that gives me this is a diabetes prediction Fast API, right? And if I provided completed, so you can see it out. Now let's move into where we can see our code. So I am saying Fast API. Okay, so this is the code I have changed into. So there was a standalone application, and then this is a backend based application that is Fast API based. Okay. So what I've done in this application is called the StreamLit. I have provided the URL API. I have created a call predictor function that calls the predictor APIs, that is URL lib.pass. I have encoded what the data comes into from the input fields, right? And then returns a response. When it comes to st.button, what it does is it calls the parameters, all the combines all the parameters put into the call prediction API. What call prediction API does is pass all the prediction API, encode into the URL and send to the Fast API. And then what comes as a response is written as your diabetes prediction is prediction probability, and then you can show the docs here. So this is why when I click this application, it gives me a complete URL that was sent to the Fast API. It gives what Fast API is returning as a value, and you can see the complete API docs here as well that are live, and you can see how API is working into. So hopefully you have got a glimpse of what FastAPI does, how easy it is to call. Now what bonus is, when it comes to APIs, there are very sharp people who are going to use your API in a very disrespectful manner and use it to the rate limits, right? So generally in the APIs, people put into the rate limits that you can hit the API for 5,000 or 500 a day or 5 in an hour, so that your server doesn't get down. So what I have done is there is a package called from rate limit called import limits. I have imported the rate limit sort of. I have created a 60 seconds integer that has been, and this API implements what called @ limits and 5. So what what it does is it takes the period and the number of calls. So in 60 seconds, I can just give 5 API calls, right? And the API will become irresponsive for the next 60 seconds, and again it will come back. So this is how I am saving my API from being bombarded or from being overused by applications, right? Let me just demonstrate you out. If I press this predict button multiple times, right? I press this button again, 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 and now what it does is becomes unresponsive. So now after 5 attempts, what it done is API response 500, right? After 60 seconds, again I'll put the button and the fast API would start working again itself. Qamar, is my screen visible and the concepts easier?
Yes, but I would say that maybe you should wind up your presentation because there are a lot of questions.
Okay. Let me just come to the conclusion itself.
Sure.
Okay, so in order to implement fast API on Heroku, you need a UbiCon server that is being into the configuration. You can see how you can put the dependencies into the requirement txt. You can use the PPAC model that I provided as diabetes model. So Heroku deployment is very, very easy, that you can see. So it was very, very easy, just covering up in the fast way. What we did is we wrote first API hitting, that is diabetes prediction fast API. What we did next is a URL request we created on the StreamLit application that enabled our button to call the predict API. What call predict API was doing is encode the parameters into the API and hit that up and get the response of that. Hopeful that you have got. I'm sure that my section has enabled you to understand the concepts of StreamLit and Fast API in a very brief. There are a lot of concepts and questions in your mind as well. I'll try to answer some of them. What Qamar picks up, and you can reach me out at the LinkedIn profile, or you can just comment out on the GitHub as well. You can note this StreamLit link app and what I provided as my GitHub, so you can look into the code as well. Qamar, can you please share any questions that we have on this platform?
Sure, there are actually like 14 questions, so I think maybe you can answer some on the comment, and some I'm bringing up live. So okay. Someone is saying, if I use StreamLit for my visualization mapping, can it have a Dockerized image?
Yes, StreamLit can be Dockerized as an image as well.
Okay. And what are the potential applications of StreamLit?
Okay, so just let me give you a quick glimpse of what StreamLit is doing. StreamLit.io. You can see thousands of applications. Some of them are here. People are creating computer vision based applications. You can see there's a Face Scan Explorer, real-time object detection. So it's complete real out. You can see out how StreamLit.io/gallery. I can put that into chat. Okay.